about a subject of the week, a subject that's very important to your health and wellness, so that we can discuss it, find some different avenues that we can add, or subtract that would make our life better, just like make our life more fulfilling, right? So today we're doing things totally different here. I'm going to talk about something that needs to talk about, but something that is the least talked about. Guys, let's talk about sex. I know it sounds crazy when I say it, but we're going to talk about safe sex, guys. And normally I would say, the whole, don't have sex before you're married, or, don't have sex, period, stay away, abstinence. But what do I know? We're going to do it. So, not for the folks that's married. This is for more like my single people out there, single people that's still mingling. I got something for us today, guys, where you can still do your single and mingle, but be more mindful and more conscious of our bodies, guys. So I'm going to jump into a few things that I discovered while researching it, because this topic, of course, was everywhere. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody's talking about the real behind it. So that's what I'm here today to present, is the real, right? So we talk about safe sex, and the first thing that usually comes to mind is condoms, right? And guys, I don't know if you guys are in my age group, but I know back then, condoms were harsh on you. They made you feel some type of way. You didn't want to use them, right? However, this day and age, they have new, improved, not only just condoms, they have so many other things that you can use, but they've upped the ante since we've been, if we travel back, they've upped the ante since we've been out there, sexting and mingling and everything else. So things are totally different, guys. Don't just think condom and automatically think against it, because these things will definitely come in handy and probably save your life. When we think about safe sex, we think about what type of safe sex activities can we do besides like intercourse, but it's the foreplay of things, and I think that's what we've steered away from. Now it's just like, get straight in the bed, let's get to it. No, let's cuddle, let's massage, let's, masturbate. A lot of people don't like to talk about masturbating, but let's masturbate. Let's do things that where we don't have to go all the way, right? And not necessarily not going all the way, but when we do go all the way, making sure that we're protected, and we're protected along the way, right? Because we know that there's a lot of STDs out there, there's HIV/AIDS, there's the risk of pregnancy. There's so many risks now than there were back in the day when I was coming up. So we have to be mindful. We have to be so very careful of the things that we are doing, right? If you can have one partner, guys, I know that, if you're single, you want to mingle, but find somebody steady, somebody consistent, somebody that you guys can go to the doctor and get checked together, or even separate and bring your papers back and say, hey, we're clean, as of this day, let's do it. But you guys, nobody's doing that. Like, you don't hear nobody talk about going getting tested, or, getting their partners tested. Nobody really want to talk about it. It becomes like a brick wall in the bedroom, and it's just like, let's get to it. No, guys, it's a lot of different pressures and a lot of different things that can risk and actually increase the risk of unsafe sex. Getting drunk, driving a boat all night, and then, meeting up with somebody and not really asking the questions that you would ask had you not been under the influence. Using recreational drugs, another thing of being under the influence, just going with the flow and not pressuring those questions, or not saying, hey, where's that condom, or, just being safe about it because your mind is tampered with because you're under the influence. Feeling pressure to have sex. Anytime you're feeling pressure to have sex, I just want to head it, guys, like seriously. Nobody should be pressuring you to have sex about anything, because first of all, we're grown, and if you have sex, you should be grown enough to be having sex to make that decision to say, okay, I'm not about to let nobody pressure me into it. And that goes to another thing, guys. Talk to your kids. Like, a lot of us kind of shun away from it, and that can kind of makes me nervous, especially raising a girl. I plan to talk to her as early as possible, because I know that there's a lot of things that I had to experience that I probably would have never even done, or done so early, or even entertained, had I just been able to have a real conversation with my mom and been like, yo, this is what it is. And especially, I don't know about, especially in the Black community, I know that this is something that our parents run from. Oh, just don't do it, or don't be fast. But it's like, no, explain to me, talk to your kids, because what I've noticed throughout life and life's experiences with myself is, when you tell me no, not to do something, I'm 9 times out of 10 you're gonna do it just to kind of feel what it is, or just to, test the waters or whatever. So, because it's like, dog, if it's that bad and we can't even talk about it, then how bad really is it? So then you go on life and you go through life and you go generating partner after partner and, relationship after relationship, and you're not getting what you need, because sexual intercourse is so much more serious than just, oh, we're just going to stick it in and go. No, it's actually a connection. You pick up spirits when you let a person into you. Women, men, when you enter in a woman, you pick up spirits that her body's carry. So if you guys aren't even on the same mental level or the same agreement level where you guys have an understanding of who each other are and what happens after that, because then pregnancy gets involved, you have a child, now you're stuck to deal with this person and you can't even communicate with them. The only thing you know how to communicate is him and her. That's it's dead. Like, it's really, really, really dead, and that will really mess up a relationship with not only the people but the kids. Like, you put the kids involved into a situation where it was just sex. Like, don't risk that. Have those conversations with your kids when you see the signs, because I guarantee you the streets and people from their peers, their influences from school and, being out, they will influence your kids before you ever get a chance to talk to them. So I think that it's very important that we actually bring up these conversations early in the game, even if it's not full-fledged, let's talk about sex. Ask probing questions and actually listen to your kids. A lot of parents don't listen. They just say what they got to say and then they go about their business, but you done left out all there is to know, or all there is to learn about where your child is and just how much they actually know just from you avoiding the situation. I know that there's a lot of situations that I've been in that I could have avoided had my mom just sat me down and had the conversation with me and say, listen, is this X, Y, and Z? You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of just brushing it under the rug. Because like I told y'all, 9 times out of 10, that's why I'm not going to say abstinence or don't do it, because I know you're going to do it. So it's what to do when we put ourselves in those positions, right? Guys, just some key factors in regards to the STDs. There's so many different STDs that you can actually catch just by, having intercourse. Not even having intercourse, like with vaginal anal sex, there's the risk of chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV, herpes, HPV, genital warts, hepatitis B, pubic lice, scabies, trichomonas, STDs that can affect your lips, mouth, and throat, being herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea, HPV, hepatitis, B. Also, the STDs that can be passed, just skin-to-skin action. No fluids involved, just skin-to-skin. Herpes, HPV, pubic lice, scabies. Guys, these things are so serious. They are real and they are out here. Protect yourself. Have that conversation with your kids so that you can protect your kids. If you find out that your kids are being sexually active, go do the proper steps. Don't just say, hey, you wasn't supposed to do that, and fuss at them and get down on them, and then it's like, yeah, just don't do it no more. Just leave the conversation, because now there's a doorway that's open that needs to be addressed, and they need to know how to move forward. If they're having sex, you are responsible. I feel like the parents are responsible for having that conversation. Okay, this is this. I'm going to get you this. Not just say don't do it and knowing that they already got the taste. Because anybody who's experienced sex at this point in life, once you try that one time, you're going to try again. Like, not unless you have some drastic type, situation happen to you, you're going to try again. So why not prepare them for what's out there and be real? Like, I see so many times where people try to sugarcoat things, but you go into that doctor's office and they tell you something, or you take a pee on that stick and you're pregnant, like you're wondering what to do from there. So let's have the conversation before. I'm more about prevention rather than, excuse me, y'all. I'm more about prevention rather than, oops, the milk spilled, now what do we do? It shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't be like that. We should have those conversations no matter how embarrassing, how scary, how nervous we may be. Those are conversations that should be had. The key facts: you have more than 1 million sexually transmitted infections that are acquired every day worldwide. Each year, there are estimated 376 million new infections, with 1 of 4 of the STIs being chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and trichomonas. More than 500 million people are estimated to have genital infection with herpes, which is HSV. More than 290 million women have human papillomavirus, which is HPV. Those are huge numbers, guys. The majority of STIs have no symptoms or only mild symptoms that may not be recognized as an STI. Most of the people don't even know. So you can't look at somebody and say, oh no, they don't have anything or they're clean. You don't know. So it's best to, before you do that, hey, you mind getting tested? If they have a problem, boop, be gone. You know what I'm saying? Because your health is involved. This is your life we're talking about. That is very serious. Not only the spirits that you pick up just by, linking with somebody who isn't even on the same mind path or that has the same, worries that you have. You ought to be worried dealing with somebody like that. Even then, guys, it's so much other things, like I told y'all, that you could do. Even having a conversation about, with the kids. Listen to their opinions. One thing I noticed too, a lot of parents like to get their points across because they feel like they're right at the time, but not understanding or trying to come from the child's point of view. Don't be like that in the situation, guys. You'll have your kids crawl into a ball, they'll never talk to you again. And somebody else will end up raising them when it comes to those type of things. So you don't want that to happen, guys. Drop in the comments and tell me some things that you guys are some situations where you guys have had where you had to, enforce safe sex. Like, I'm all for the old school, and I know my mom probably wouldn't even agree with this video. She'd probably be like, no, don't need to have sex, but that's the thing that's happening, guys. Everybody's telling everybody don't do it, and they're doing it, but everybody's doing it wrong. So let's do it the right way. Let's teach our kids the right way. Half of us grown-ups need to study or take a course or two because we don't know, certain things that really should be known. How to properly wash your stuff after, having intercourse. Making sure that you don't douche after intercourse. All of those different things are serious. They're important and they're serious, guys. So I hope this video helped, guys. We may have a part 2 because there's so much that we can talk about when it comes to safe sex, guys. So we may have a part 2. If you guys are wanting a part 2, matter of fact, drop down in the comments and just say part 2 if y'all want a part 2 to this particular video, right? All right, guys. Without further ado, I love you. God loves you. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button.